Good morning, and welcome to this Council of Ministers press briefing for today, April 1st, 2020. For the past month, I have been talking, I have been preaching, I have been begging. I have been asking you to be careful, to be safe, to take care of you and your family. And if you have loved ones who are elderly, who have heart conditions, who have lung infections or are prone to lung infections, have asthma, have diabetes, that these people must be protected more than any other. And though you may be young, you may be strong, you may bounce back within a week, persons with these conditions that I mentioned before are extremely vulnerable to this COVID disease, as well as any infectious disease. Any cold or flu could kill one of the above persons that I mentioned, any one of them. Last week, someone told me you're starting to sound like the Suriname general. But it looks as if it is at times that is what is needed, a tough, hard exterior for people to listen. I said it softly, I said it toughly. Now other ministers have joined the cry. The health professionals have joined the cry. But people of St. Maarten, your health, your safety is first of all your responsibility. For those of the persons that I'm asking to still go to work, the emergency personnel, they have taken an oath to serve, and they do so with honor, and I thank them. Even the gentleman standing behind the camera right now, the lady on the editing table, these people are coming out of their homes so that I can inform you. So yes, some government workers, emergency workers, medical and health professionals, law enforcement, we have to work. But the rest that can work from home, please do yourself and the community a favor and stay at home. We have allowed for banks and supermarkets to be open so that no one runs short of food. That is the only reason the banks are open. So that you are able to have access to funds, because yes, as much as I have a card and don't need the bank to be open, not every citizen has a card or the capabilities to use a card. So for those persons, I allow the banks to be open for now. Supermarkets will remain open, but I guarantee you, those calling for the lockdown will be the first to cry when it happens. I have proposed in the EOC since over the weekend, and I'm going to say it here now, because this can come and will come. Restricting movement is not something easy to do on an island such as ours. We not only have persons who are scattered all over the island, we have an invisible border whereby people live on one side and travel to the next side. Some took offense when I said, do not go over to the French side unless necessary. It is not because I do not love my French brothers and sisters. I myself have to travel for meetings. They travel over here for meetings. We are meeting on a regular basis at all levels to be able to serve you and serve you well. But there are people taking chances. There are people still hanging out at bars. There are people still going through the back door and doing their hair, and 3 or 4 people are in there. When we had decided to allow barbershops and salons to be open, it was with an appointment process. My hair was done. So people were saying, oh, she just wants her hair to get done. No. I usually go to someone's home to have my hair braided. This person I know, this person has very high hygiene practices, so I can trust that the commander-in-chief during this crisis stays safe by going to someone I know and trust and who is upholding the protocols I have established. Can you guarantee that with every single person who is out there doing hair or have a barbershop? Every contact with a barber or a person in a salon is a possibility to contract and spread the virus. As a matter of fact, one of the cases that have been notified on the other side, which has been updated to us, was a salon owner. No symptoms, a fever, not necessarily coughing or anything like that, but not feeling well and having a high fever. Suppose she had spread this to her clients. We could not contain it. This is the problems we are faced with today. So that's why I'm asking you, if you have to go out, And let me reiterate, 3 of her employees were being traced on the Dutch side and have shown no symptoms. So we believe that that has been contained. Our criteria for testing based on the RIVM, which is the kingdom criteria, is that one should have symptoms as well as a history of travel. This is why we closed the outer borders. This is why a month ago, I closed the borders to China. I closed the border to Germany, to Spain. And when I tried to close to the Netherlands and France, I got kickback from those same 2 countries because we belong. We are brothers, we are sisters, we are partners. How can you block? When I said I need to close the borders, but you must let in your residents. So I allowed my residents to come in for a week, and those are the first cases that have been identified. Not persons who were at the regatta, not persons who went to the St. Maarten Festival, but persons who returned home from a foreign country where it was already spreading. I closed my borders on the 22nd of March to even our own residents, and I got called all kinds of names. I'm abandoning my people out there. But what I said to those parents who called me or who messaged me is that where your child is, have better social and health services than we have here at the moment. I only have 2 ICU beds. That means 2 beds where a patient can be isolated and ventilated, assisted to breathe. We do not take any joy in announcing numbers where they are escalating. Yes, we expected it to escalate because we saw from the beginning that quarantined persons were not all staying at home. But we did not have the manpower to put ankle bracelets on every person and keep them in their homes. That is very unrealistic to ask of a country such as ours. We are doing everything we have with the tools that we have and the human resources that we have. We're in a crisis. The world is in a crisis. We depend on the world for finances. Our finances, because of the situation, is depleting. We are not receiving funds because business is not being done on St. Maarten. The only business being done is by banks, by emergency services, and the like, medical services. Shipping continues. So you do not need to run to the store today because we will close the store tomorrow. If it's one thing that will remain open, it will be supermarkets. But of course, you have to be thinking about the next person when you shop. Do not shop for a month, 2 weeks maximum, because if we shut down, that will be the initial. But of course, we have to reopen. I am trying to avoid shutting our supermarkets because I know there are people who live hand to mouth. And while we are busy preparing baskets for our most vulnerable, we know that some people have not even registered. So I'm asking all those persons, the Ministry of VSR has put out a form online. We do not have it available for pickup. We do not want to encourage persons to come to the building, but find a way to call at least to social services and register yourself, or labor services and register yourself if you have lost your job as a result or are not being paid as a result. I really, despite everything else that's going on, would not also want to have people starving in this country. Our latest regulation allows only a particular amount of businesses that we consider essential to be open. Those are, and I repeat, and that is only between the hours of 8 and 6 p.m. Grocery stores, supermarkets, and bakeries. This is so that you can eat. Pharmacies and other medical and emergency services. If you are sick, you can call your doctor, have an appointment over the phone or over use the apps that allow you to see your doctor and a doctor to see you. I've also encouraged doctors to do this because that is how they've been dealing with patients in the past few weeks, over the phone. Pick up your prescriptions and go right back home. You're allowed to go to the gas station and locations selling cooking gas. But I can tell you, as we move forward and we try to restrict your movement, we will also restrict the hours of the gas stations being opened. Banks and postal services are still allowed. And when I say banks, I also mean money exchange services where people send and receive money. I know some people rely on their family members abroad sending them money to survive, and the other way around. That's why those are still open, but only those regulated by the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Maarten. Electronic stores. I've gotten a lot of flack about that. Electronic stores, phones, laptops, this is what we are relying on now for people to be able to work from home. So that is as crucial to our sustainability as food right now. Most people who are working from home. Doctors can work from home. They can see their patients via the apps on their computers or via their telephones. If telephones are damaged or laptops are damaged, communication breaks down. So yes, I will allow electronic stores and computer hardware, software, accessories, and repair services to remain open. Of course, all of the above as long as the proper hygiene methods are being employed. Anyone not following these regulations run the risk of, as a business, of being shut down or being heavily fined. No government organizations or utilities companies will be open to the public for the next few days. So from today on to Friday, for us to be able to assess how we can adjust and allow those services to continue in a limited fashion. As of today, for those services I just mentioned, only emergency government services and technical services will be allowed. That means if you have a problem with your internet, you can call, tell them. If they are able to send a technician to you, they will send. Otherwise, they will try to assist you over the phone. That is the best they can do at the moment because the management at Telem said they do not have as much protective gear for their workers and they are not going to jeopardize them either. Call the emergency numbers for government services. Look on our website. Each department that gives emergency services or public service has a contact number. You will be able to reach someone, and if you cannot when you call, continue to try. You are the only ones that can help us to flatten the curve. It is climbing. It started slowly, but suddenly now with more tests being done on some of our isolation cases, we are seeing higher numbers. For those of you that have symptoms at the moment, please write down every place you have been in the past days or from at least one day before your symptoms started. This will be a great help to CPS to be able to trace and track persons who may have been in contact with you. As a matter of fact, as a good citizen of this country, and you know that you have flu-like symptoms and a fever, you should contact every and anybody you've been with, even the day before those symptoms arose. And most definitely, isolate yourself, not even quarantine. Stay in one room of your house and designate someone to bring food for you, to bring you materials to clean your room, etc. If you become so ill that you require emergency services, dial 911, but also dial 914 if you're on their list to alert them so that the ambulance services will understand that you are a COVID possible patient or a COVID patient. Businesses not allowed to be open to the public, but allowed to have a special arrangement due to being able to provide necessary service to those emergency personnel. And people like me who are here all day are restaurants. Though the restaurants are still allowed to operate normally today, as of tonight, those restaurants who have a special arrangement with emergency services can deliver or allow for pickup. Government construction projects are allowed, as well as projects being handled through the NRPB Trust Fund. General contractors working on non-governmental projects are not allowed to operate. Why? We cannot control all projects, but we can definitely control the projects that fall under government. Road work can continue because that's a government work. The government projects that are fixing people's homes, we need that to finish. The pavilions that are being built, we need those to finish. So essential business that needs to be done by government projects will continue, and the hardware stores will designate a time when those contractors are able to pick up their goods. No public movements towards hardware stores will be allowed for the next 3 days. Again, on Friday, we will be assessing, and if changes are necessary, they will be announced on Friday. Garages and other maintenance and repair shops are allowed to cater to, again, emergency vehicles and vehicles of those who we expect to be able to work. So you're not open to the general public, you're open to persons who must be able to prove that they are carrying out essential services for government in fighting this COVID-19 pandemic. But I would also like to, it wasn't stated as such, reality is the bankers, the persons that have to carry out services should also be allowed if they have a flat tire or need to have their vehicles serviced because it's not working, should be able to do so as well as we need them. Of course, funeral services are allowed, and cleaning services and garbage collection are also allowed. The document will be uploaded later today after everything has been registered properly with the National Gazette. We won't be making that mistake again. The numbers that I relayed yesterday have not changed as far as I know, but I would like to reiterate that you will notice that the quarantine numbers are going down. The mandatory and voluntary quarantine numbers. Why? These numbers signify the persons who had traveled back to St. Maarten, and as soon as your 14 days are over and you are not showing any symptoms, then you are freed from your quarantine. If you have not quarantined yourself as yet, and you have arrived on this island less than 14 days ago, you are a risk to the entire population. And you are then one of the persons who are now behaving like that case number 31 that I've spoke about last week. Case number 31 was one person that infected over 5,000 people indirectly. It's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. It can remain latent for up to 10 days, and then when you start to show symptoms, you're wondering who you had been in contact with over the days. We do not have thousands of tests as much as we would like to. We're sending our tests to Guadeloupe. We're sending our tests to the Netherlands. Both of those locations are overridden with their own patients. So we're not going to be top priority for them. So when we started, we received test results within 24 hours. Now it's taking 3 and 4 days to get results. So tests that were done Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are what we got back yesterday. What was taken late Sunday and Monday and yesterday have not come in yet. So we still have some pending cases, so we can expect that out of what has been tested, there will be positive cases because we are only testing people with a high suspicion of having the disease. That's why you will see our percentage of positive as tested cases high because we are being very selective in who gets tested. But if you, for any reason, feel you are positive, and even if you don't think you're positive, I reiterate again, I have much sympathy for you being stuck in your home. But for me, as I posted on Facebook yesterday, you are not stuck at home, you are safe at home. You may have your employer sign a letter stating that you, with the same information, of course, that you are allowed because you're essential services. But you should also have an ID from your job to prove that you work there. Those who need to do the personal waivers, so you have to sign those yourself, you're allowed to write it or put the information on your phone to show to the police officers should you be stopped. And guarantee you, there's a high likelihood that you will be stopped. The police, all of the services on St. Maarten, the customs officers, immigration officers that are not necessarily being utilized due to lack of tourism on the island will be assisting the police with the controls. And the controls are being done jointly by the Dutch and French side. So please cooperate so that we have less issues and less challenges. Chief John has said to me in every meeting and every update, he is quite impressed with the compliance of the St. Maarten people. Do not disappoint us at this point. We are making every effort, as I said in the beginning, to be able to take care of you, the people of St. Maarten. We must be very conscious of our actions and accept our personal responsibility to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. It hurts my heart, and it hurt me immensely yesterday to be able to announce that there was a suspected death due to COVID-19. Some people do not understand the daily trials and tribulations of being in this position. And I pray that the family, the loved ones who have lost their dearly departed, will find the courage, the faith to deal with it and to understand the limitations of the St. Maarten government to be able to handle an outbreak of this proportion. This is not an easy time for anyone. I was updated by the DCOM that some of the members in the Haitian community are assisting us in getting flyers out to this community who may not be online and who may be in need of this information or unaware of how dangerous social distancing or not social distancing is to this epidemic. Something in our projections that we have from the Netherlands and the statistics does not take into consideration in these islands is a high number of immigrants that we have and the many languages that we speak, the way that certain groups, demographic groups live in close proximity to each other, and even how we as St. Martiners, you can find in many houses 3 and 4 generations living together. So social distancing is a serious challenge for us. Culturally, we love to hug, we love to kiss, we love to touch. It is just who we are, but we have to hold back ourselves. It's been 2 weeks, but I no longer shake hands or touch persons who are not in my home. And I have to trust that they are doing the same. And that's why we're seeing that our spread is mainly from residents returning, and therefore community spread is more or less guaranteed. But we can stop it. Stop moving. Simply stop moving. If you do not have the type of bread you like in your house, eat crackers. If you do not have bread, eat cereal. Eat oats, sardines. You're supposed to have a 2-week supply for hurricane. And at the beginning of this, I said, prepare your disaster kit as if you would for a hurricane. That meant some people went out and buy toilet paper and water. The water is not going to stop. The toilet paper is still in the stores. What you need is food. You need to ensure that you have food, because if I have to take everybody who is saying that at least 50%, shut it down completely, regardless. Food will also not be possible for 2 weeks for you to buy, because the workers in the food market will also have to stay home. Keep that in mind. But do not run to the supermarket today to buy for a month. As I said, buy for 1 to 2 weeks. I will allow the supermarkets to be open for the rest of the week. Come Monday, my proposal is that we do a staggered approach whereby a segment of the population will be allowed to move while the rest stays put. If that doesn't work out, then we go to shutdown totally. That's what I am doing. I am trying my best to ensure that the people of St. Maarten can eat, has access to food, and therefore they need to have gas, and they have access to medical services. But if the people of St. Maarten do not adhere to the measures that the government of St. Maarten is putting in place for your own safety, then I have no other choice. But each and every one of us can shut down on our own. I saw a message from a concerned parent, and they are saying, you don't know the decisions, and I am telling people to stay away from their children who live across the border, etc., etc. But let me explain this. The Minister Arian gave his personal story. My child is stuck in the United States. My child is in the middle of an area where there is a pandemic, but I must continue to work. I will call him, I will FaceTime him when I get a chance. That is not even every day, and that hurts me as a mother. But I have to continue to work to ensure that the people of St. Maarten know that the hand at the helm is steadfast and continues to work with a passion to ensure that you remain safe. Help me to help you. I cannot say it any other way. To shut down this country would mean people are not able to go out for food. I encourage all businesses to start setting up some type of a delivery system so that when we do have to shut down completely, I can give special passes at least for delivery, especially of food. This is the only way we will be able to get through what I've seen happen in China and Italy, a total shutdown for sometimes up to a month and 2 months. If we do not climb to the levels that they have reached, we will be able to at least minimally allow movement. Help me to help you. Help us to help you. We are all in this together. God bless you, people of St. Maarten. Bless your brothers and sisters by being safe, and may God bless all of the people of the world who are currently suffering, who are starting to suffer, who are recovering and spreading the word of their recovery of this COVID-19. We all deserve to stop and pray. And I will adhere to the call that was made, even though I missed it on Monday, and call for a day of prayer. God bless you, people of St. Maarten.